Alright, before it gets too late today, let's put an edge on this thing. It's getting late. Should be able to do it quickly. I just reviewed the last video. Alright, let's see. There's one thing I gotta clear up from that last video. I make it sound like I still have a commission in the Army. I don't have it anymore. I had to resign it in 1995. Want to hear the story? No? It's okay, I'll just tell you a little bit. Yeah, at the time they instituted a rule that you had to complete your college degree within a certain allotted period of time, or you're no longer qualified. So yeah, I couldn't complete my degree, my 4-year college degree in time. So I had to resign my commission. Yeah, one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make. Not that I loved it or anything, it was just so difficult to get, you know? And I really enjoyed being a platoon leader. If I had completed my degree in time, things would have been a lot different, I think. The course of my life would have definitely been different. But as it turned out, I couldn't complete a 4-year degree, so I went back to school, but for a 2-year degree. That hurt too, because I already had over 120 hours of college. So close. Anyway, I went and got my drafting degree. Became a draftsman, and the rest is history. And I just wanted to clear that up because I reviewed the video and I go, man, I said to myself, I made it sound like I'm still doing it. Maybe in my head I am. Maybe I'm like the guy who can't take off his wedding ring after divorce. I still have my paper copy of my federal commission signed by President Reagan. Not actually signed, of course. It's just a little copied signature from the signature mill, I suppose. Still got it. I know exactly where it is. As soon as I get settled into a house, I'm going to frame it, put it on the wall. Anyway, that's that story. Still have vivid memories, you know how it goes. Alright. Oh yeah, just for the record too, I am opposed to war. Highly opposed to war. But I made a study of it before and after my National Guard service. I'm still studying it. I'm studying it now mainly in the ancient context, prehistoric context, Stone Age context, that sort of thing. Stone Age warfare. We do have a clue how it was conducted because Native Americans basically were still in the Stone Age when they made European contact. And as could be guessed, the fighting, the warfare among Native Americans was pretty much like gang warfare, just smaller groups. Nothing really large unless it was a large migration from one area to the other. Then yeah, there might be large numbers of warriors fighting. Central America, that happened quite a bit. Different cultures developed large empires. I shouldn't say quite a bit, but it did happen in South America, Central America, and South America. North America, I don't know. The history is all messed up, so we might never know. But I've been studying warfare because in the Americas, because a lot of these stone weapons, a lot of these stone points appear to be weapons of war and not hunting tools. Why do I say that? Because the practical application for hunting on some of these points, like the ones that have very delicate, thin cross sections, it'll snap at the slightest bump or touch or impact. It just snap. You can bump up against a tree while you're walking and snap the point off. What's the point of having something that delicate when you're hunting? The only thing that I can see is those points are designed to break in the wound. Now, that's bad for someone if they get shot with it, but it's also bad for an animal who gets shot with it. Right? So what were they shooting? Were they shooting any kind of animals with those really, really thin points? Or just people? I think they were probably shooting predators, human and otherwise, with those types of delicate points. Delicate points are for predators, human and otherwise, because it breaks off in the wound. It's not going to heal properly, and eventually that predator will die. Most likely. Or there's a good chance. Maybe not most likely, but there's a very good chance that that predator will die. What is the benefit of that predator dying? Well, if you want to be the dominant predator in the area, you have to get rid of all the others. Humans are predators. We are predators of predators. That's how we survived. All the other stuff you might hear is probably, I think, in my opinion, all the other reasons why we developed the way we did are not very convincing unless we look at humans as being predators of predators. And oh yes, we are definitely that. You can see it even today. Okay, so I'm going to refine the edges to an extent, but not completely. Not completely refined because it's just going to get kind of too nitpickety, right? Too many flakes on the edge. And when you do too many flakes, if they're not creating a scoop out, like a hollow ground effect, if they're not creating that effect, it gets duller, actually. It's got to be thin. It's got to have some jaggedy spots on it to effectively cut. It's got to have some of this irregularity and very thin areas, at least in some parts. Or you can put serrations in it. It's either going to be smooth and thin or serrated to be effective at cutting. Yes, serrations are for cutting. They're also, in my view, also for causing pain in the target. So serrations will definitely cause pain. If rubbing up against anything in the wound, I think it would hurt more. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it'll hurt a lot more if it's got a lot of little spikes on it than if it's a smooth edge. if it's rubbing up against something inside. I'm pretty sure. And that works on people. Humans hate to be in pain. They get weaker mentally and physically when they're in pain. Whereas some animals, I think most animals react to pain differently than most humans. Most animals go nuts and they start kicking, they start running, they start fighting when they're in pain. Some humans do that too, but for the most part, humans tend to break down and want to find relief right away. They can't stand it. All right. Okay, here we go. That's not too bad. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Some of this stuff is easy in some areas, and some areas it's not. All right. I'm just going to do the symmetry, a little bit on the symmetry, and I'll finish up with pressure. Okay, I don't know what kind of point that is, but it was the fastest one I could come up with. All right. This is a long series, right? This is going to be the third or fourth video. Let's see. Fourth video. All right. It's nice and quiet outside. No lawnmowers. If I wait until nighttime to do the video, there's no distractions, no noises, no nothing. But since it takes so long to upload the video, you guys won't see this until the next day. Till the very next day. Yeah, for a long time I was wondering if they're going to call me up if there was going to be a war. But then the age limit passed. They can't call me up anymore. I got an honorable discharge. They could have called me back up. It didn't. No major emergencies. Ship has sailed. I don't know why it bugs me. It just does. It just does. Just like edges that won't sharpen right. They bug me. This one is not... Why is this not sharpening right? Because it feels like even though I'm getting the edge thin, right on the edge right on the edge, thin, it still looks crumbly. And it bugs me. Yeah, I had a bunch of my army stuff in storage. Still gonna talk about it. Sorry. I had a bunch of my army stuff in storage at my mom's house. But she could no longer take care of herself. So we had to move her out of the house. And I found a lot of my old stuff. my old uniforms. I said, damn, I wonder if I can still fit in that. Sure enough, I found a t-shirt. T-shirt fits. I said, oh man, if a t-shirt fits, let's see. How about everything else? Well, I didn't, because I know the pants are not going to fit. I need to lose about 2 more inches on my waistline. Then I can fit into my old uniforms. One of my goals is to get that thin again. Yes. Slowly getting there. It's not easy. Why is it not easy? It's because everyone looks at you funny when you say you can't eat this. I can't eat that. I can't eat this. Why not, man? It's on the food pyramid, dude. Can't eat the healthy foods. Well, it's not that I can't eat them. It's just that if I do, I'm going to get fat and sick. And my brain is going to become more insane than it already is. I already went through that. Really? Yes. As you get older, things start to happen. You gotta take precautions. I know that I don't always take precautions. I know that I always don't live like I'm supposed to. I love smoking cigars. So I'll light one up every now and then, although it's not healthy. I love smoking pipes. The smell of pipe tobacco. I love it. Can't do it often. Can't do it. And it's not nicotine is addictive, right? I don't recommend smoking at all because of the nicotine, but it's more than just that. It's a psychological thing. Yeah, the nicotine starts to affect you and you get a little craving for it. Nothing like a hunger craving, but it's a nagging thing. Makes you do stupid things like spend all this money on cigars. You ever gonna smoke them? Well, I just tossed a bunch that I bought a while ago. Not a bunch, I just tossed, 2? Really nice ones, because I can't be doing that very often. So yeah, just tossed them too. I think it's getting me the anxiety. It's getting me anxious just thinking about it. Getting anxious just thinking about the Army stuff, the Army National Guard stuff. I gotta talk about something that doesn't require too much energy or thought, because I'm trying to not interfere with the napping brain. You guys are getting my life story here. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. In a week, I'm going to reveal all the secrets and all the experiences. I won't have nothing else to talk about. I'll have to make stuff up. Yeah, you do that already, dude. Let me see. Is that it? I still got a bunch of little step fractures that are bugging me on this. I got 2 lamps on this, one this way, not that way. I still get shadows. See that? Right where I need to not have shadows. Okay. Should I put sharper barbs or just leave it? I'm just going to leave it. I can put a little bit sharper barbs on this. A little bit more of a needle tip. Let's see. Let's look. for grins and giggles. What do I got? I'm going to do a ratio. 40, let's just say 40 millimeters. Yeah. And this one, 13. Why can't you be the easy? Yeah, 13. What's 13 in the 40? Well, 13 times 4 is like 52. So it's less than 4 to 1, but it's better than 3 to 1. What's my average? My average is about 5 to 1 or 6 to 1. Something like that. See how much time I got. How much time I got left? I'm going to put some more barbage on this. Barbage is not garbage. It's worth it. Why is it worth it? Just looks better. Looks meaner. Why would they put barbs on a knife? I got that question before, and at first I thought it was, I shouldn't answer that one. It's obvious, but it's not so obvious. Why would you put barbs on a knife when you don't have to? I mean, what purpose does that serve? Little barbs. I don't know. It doesn't serve that much purpose even with a projectile point. I don't think. A little bit extra bloodletting maybe when you use it as a spear point. That does more damage when you got barbs on it. Or maybe the barbs really don't have any effect if you wrap it really thickly. The thickness of the wrapping goes right to the edge of the barbs. So you really don't get the barb effect if you got a real thick wrap on it. And you put barbs in it so that you can wrap all the way up to the top of the stem. Because if you don't put this little concavity in there, you can't wrap it all the way to the top of the stem. So maybe that's why they put the barbs in, so you can wrap it a little bit higher without having to go up on the blade. I suppose there's different rationalities for the barbs, but that's actually a good question. Why would you have barbs on a knife? I think it has to do with the hafting. That's why I think hafting is important. Hafting is important for understanding why these look the way they look. Yeah, it sharpens up okay. I mean, you can scoop out these little flakes, these sharpening flakes. Little scoop out. See, I just scooped that out. I'm going to do another scoop out right there if I can. Yeah. See how it scoops out? There's a little bubble percussion there. It kind of makes the edge thin right there. So you've got a sharper edge when you scoop it out, like a hollow ground effect. The hollow ground effect on a steel knife makes the edge thinner and therefore easier to sharpen. I don't know if I should use the word easier, but it's more conducive to being sharpened. So that's what I'm trying to do, that little hollow ground effect right there on the lower part. And it helps me to thin it down a little bit there and constrict it. It's just for me, it's aesthetically pleasing to have a slight constriction right there above the barb. But there could be a reason for it. I see that a lot on real artifacts. It could be the result of resharpening. You know, the edge starts out rounded like this side, and then as you chip to resharpen, you lose a little bit there and it becomes concave. That might be the reason. Am I going to do a cutting test? I probably shouldn't mention the cutting test because now I got to do it. No, I'm not going to do a cutting test because I really don't know of a good way to do a test that everyone can do other than, you know, get a piece of chicken or a piece of beef and cut it. You can cut that stuff with anything. The real cutting test would be cutting through sinews or something. Sinew is hard to cut through. And I don't want to waste my sinew. I don't want to cut that in half. I got a bunch of expensive sinew. And some free sinew that I don't want to waste. A couple of friends of mine sent me some sinew lately. Beautiful stuff. I will do some hafting videos with the beautiful sinew. How's that? But cutting tests? Not so much. Not so much. Alright, now some of these stems on some points, I don't know about this particular style, but some of these were ground down and some were not. Now why would some of these be ground down and some not? Another seemingly simple question to answer, but I don't know. It would seem like once the Native Americans started grinding their stems, why did they stop? It's an excellent idea. Just keep doing it. But no, it slowly faded into oblivion. Stop doing it. Yep, just totally stop doing it. It's still pretty thick, but for a knife, especially if you haft it on a thick stick like a spear or a large foreshaft or a knife handle, this will be alright. It'll be alright. Okay. There you go. A little bit wonky on this edge, but I kind of went with the flow. I didn't want to mess with it because if you start messing with it to get rid of some of the wonkiness, you get more narrow. And you want to be able to resharpen this at least a few times. And then as you resharpen it, you actually lose the barbs and everything, and you get one long narrow point. And someone will say, it's a different point style. Anyway, this wasn't too bad. So thank you, Jim, for sending me this. It is kind of a how should I say, kind of a difficult material, but not that difficult. I have found material a lot worse than this. And I wouldn't mind getting a little bit more of this to experiment with, see if I can get it really thin. Probably won't be able to unless I'm peeling off some large thin flakes and then just trim around the edges. But there you go. That's it.